welcome to the Celebrate Arkansas podcast. I am managing editor Jocelyn Murphy, and we're back. We took a little bit of a hiatus, but we're back. And today we are with our editor-in-chief, Justin Froning, and Kurt Templeton with the Walmart Museum. Thank you so much for being here, Kurt.
Yeah, thanks a bunch. It's an honor, and I'm excited to talk to you guys.
Yes. Well, we were so excited to talk to you specifically during the month of June, of course, because June, our June issue is our Walmart Associates / shareholders issue, and we're really celebrating Associates Week, but also we had so much to celebrate with the museum reopening. So June's been really exciting this year. So we were really glad that you were able to come in during the month of June to add to that. To add to the festivities.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I think that Associates Week is easily my favorite week of the year in Northwest Arkansas. As a Walmart associate, as someone who lives kind of near the downtown hustle and bustle of the Bentonville Square, like it's always spectacular to see associates from all over the world come to Bentonville. This was the first year in 3 years that associates could come visit Mr. Sam's first retail store in Bentonville, because we went through this awesome kind of rebirth of the museum. And so it's been great. The really cool part too is the traffic hasn't slowed down. Like the first week of June, we're like, oh man, Associates Week, it's going to be super busy. And then the next week it was almost as busy. And so that's really cool.
Yeah. And you came into the museum at a pretty exciting time. So tell us a little about when you came into the museum and what your kind of role there is.
I got to join this awesome team that's tasked with carrying the Walmart culture and the stories forward. In the middle of November, we grand opened on March the 14th. So we had almost 120 days, and I'd never worked on a construction project before, and certainly nothing of this scale. And so coming in with, a deadline and a finish line, and knowing that we would find a way to get everything done and get everything ready for our associates to come visit and open it was a lot of work. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. It was the hardest thing our team has ever done. And then you get to see the result, and you talk to people and you hear people, and they're just blown away at how awesome the new experience is. The space is doubled in size. People are so excited to have the Smart Cafe back at sort of full tilt. And so, it's been an amazing journey.
Yeah. The museum is such an integral part, literally, of Bentonville's downtown square physically, but also just the downtown community and the culture. And so the museum closed temporarily in late 2022. You had the, remind me what it was called, the Heritage Lab in the Ledger Building during the interim. So walk us through what that meant. The museum closes because we're going to renovate, we're going to expand. But it's literally from the ground up completely new, but you might not know that if you were only looking at the outside of the building the whole time. So tell us a little about this literal rebirth.
Yeah, we closed Halloween Day, and we're going to do a 6-month-ish remodel, move some walls, build some better stairs, upgrade an elevator, like pretty simple stuff. And as the design and construction and engineering team started to really take the building apart, the Terry Block building was built in 1888. It was, the grandest building probably in Benton County at the time. But as we started to do the project, we realized, I didn't realize, I was not even thinking about a museum 3.5 years ago. We realized, this building needs a lot more love and attention. And then the hard decision was made between Walmart and with the Walton family that the best way to preserve our history is to rebuild this from scratch so that it'll last 150 more years. And what's really special about the building today is it's modern construction. They took 96 dump truck loads of dirt out of the basement in the middle of the night. People had no idea. We have some really great video clips of that.
Yes.
The building means so much to the community that to take it down and build it back up, we had to do it in a very respectful way. And so that's why people really didn't see the building come down or see the new building go up. We tried to be pretty thoughtful about that. But if you look at it from the outside today, it looks exactly inch for inch like the previous building. The brick, one of my favorite things is the brick is what's called an Ontario size brick. It was the standard size brick in 1888. I can tell you it is not the standard size brick that anybody sells today. So we had to go find someone that could make us brick that looks exactly the size, shape, and color of what was originally there. The mortar was made to match the mortar. Every piece of white Carthage stone came off the building. We numbered every piece. We put it right back where it came from. The metal was all previously done in tin, which is not very robust. So we redid all the metals, hand-hammered copper. I think the care and attention to make the building look exactly the same, I think is a testament to the value of the physical space. What I always describe it as is at Walmart, our purpose and our values are timeless. And the outside of the building is timeless. It looks exactly as it did in 1888 and then in 1950 when Sam Walton started his first five and dime. But the inside is completely different. At Walmart, we always talk about our purpose and values are timeless, but we always change. We are always changing how we serve customers, how we serve associates, how we serve community. And so the museum represents both of those. When you walk inside, you see familiar things, and then you also see totally brand new experiences. And that's really what's so special about the project.
There was a moment that I really enjoyed talking with you before where you'd mentioned that someone had talked about what a great job they'd done on power washing the building.
Yeah. Literally, you hear people and they walk down Central and you're looking up at the brick and they're just like, wow, you guys really cleaned this up. It's like, well, it's a 2.5 year power wash. It's a little more than that, but it's I think it also really sets the standard for how important spaces are to the community. Being able to respect history, but also be able to modernize experiences. I think it's really well done. One of my favorite facts about Walmart is 90% of the U.S. population is within 10 miles of a Walmart store. And so just like our museum, just like our home office, like our Walmart stores are deeply embedded in our communities. And so whether it's a remodel of a local store, building a new store, or remodeling or rebuilding the museum, we're really conscientious of the role we play in the community. And so that's why we took such detailed steps with the museum project. What I think is also really special is Crossland Construction was our main sort of construction partner. We had over 100 subcontractors that did work, and I don't know, 70 or 80% of them at least were local. Like it was local electricians, local plumbers, local people doing sign and vinyl just installations. And it's really cool because that means there's a whole community of people and workers and families, kids and grandkids that can look at that and go, oh yeah, I know somebody that got to work on that. So it's really cool.
That's really cool. Well, I mean, and it's such a testament to the way it was preserved. I mean, it's totally rebirthed, but brick for brick to look so identical. I mean, the meticulous nature that went into that. I mean, I went in there with one of our colleagues at the grand opening, and we're talking about how amazing the inside was. I was like, yeah, can you believe they totally took it down and rebuilt it? And she's like, well, no, they did the inside. I said, no, they did the outside too. I mean, it's still just unbelievable to have that happen. And I think a lot of that's, the scrim that was up the whole time. It was so smart because downtown didn't look that much different as it was happening. And I think the idea of the trucks doing their work at night, the cranes, you talked about the crane being assembled and deassembled. Talk through that.
Yeah. So every night, once they started the kind of big construction, it would take about 2 hours to assemble the crane. And then they'd use the crane overnight. And then they would disassemble it for 2 hours because they didn't want to create, disruption on the square. We did a lot of this work at night to create less noise and less dust and to be really thoughtful of it. Frankly, and the scrim that made the downtown feel the same even while the construction was going on, It was designed so that wind and stuff could go through it. If you had put plywood or something behind it, which you wouldn't have done because it would have been like a wind hazard, but if you'd put plywood there, I don't think anybody would have ever had any idea the building was rebuilt. I mean, it'd be like an Ocean's 11 movie,
Right. Yeah.
right? Like, oh, the building got totally rebuilt. Nobody knew about it. Like, and so I think it's been a really cool journey to see. And then you see the new Walmart home office being opened over on 8th Street. And really it's this nice juxtaposition of, the timelessness of our culture, but also a willingness to change and engage both community and our associates in different ways. And we are always focused on getting better. I had an interesting walk with a leader at Walmart in the museum, and we were talking about how almost everything Walmart starts doing, we're not great at to begin with. Like, store number 2 in Harrison, Arkansas was historically the worst store David Glass had ever seen, right? And it's like, but David Glass talked about, like, Sam Walton never quit making things better.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how clunky the first supercenter was or the first neighborhood market, we're relentlessly making improvements. And even with the museum, the home office, I think that's part of our secret sauce too.
Yeah. I heard it put recently that, they're excited they get to work for the world's biggest startup.
Yeah.
And it's a constant, thinking and creativity and innovation. And that is a really great way to serve your customers.
And in retail, it's, innovate or die, right? You look back to all the retailers that are no longer at the top of the heap. They never changed. They stuck with what had always worked, and someone else came along and created something better. Mm-hmm. And even for our museum, like, we're already talking 100 days in of how to make the experience better. Mm-hmm. Like, we know we've got a lot of things that work great, and there's a few things that we want to go, we can make that better. Mm-hmm. And to be able to work at a company that it doesn't just look at this as a one and done, but an ongoing, project to serve our associates, visitors, and community is really cool. Mm-hmm. So at Walmart, we're a people-led, tech-powered company, and we really strive. We talk about this with our 4 core values: to operate with excellence and integrity. And, that's where you really see, the attention to detail with our community, with the big nature on our campus, with the detail that goes into the museum. That's where you see that come to life and in kind of the space I get to be a part of.
Well, and I don't want to, we have so much to cover, so I don't want to keep harping on the construction part of it, but I did just want to add, what you're saying, well, what we've been saying the whole time. I knew going into our conversation for the story that we were working on for the June issue, that idea of it was completely taken down, on the inside. But then I saw the video, and that video of, I'm used to looking at, here's the facade of the building, and the video is from the opposite side, and it's just dirt. That was just dirt in there. It just like drove it home in a different way. I knew it conceptually, but then seeing it, and then knowing the context of everything we talked about, like you said, the crane being put together for 2 hours and taken apart for 2 hours, and the 96 dump trucks of dirt. It's just like, who does that? Who puts together and takes apart a crane in the middle of the night so that it doesn't disrupt an entire downtown? Like, it was really incredible just seeing the video that I guess is on the museum's website. So I encourage everyone to go look at that, of like Crossland. You're talking to some of the Crossland people, and it was very impressive.
Yeah, I think that's a good testament to Walmart's tenacity too. Mm-hmm. Like, when Walmart decides, hey, we're going to do something, we're going to do it right. Mm-hmm. One of our famous stories is when Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans, and our CEO at the time, Lee Scott, had a call with all his leaders and said, hey, I want you to do everything you need to do to take care of your associates, customers, and community. Do not ask for permission. Do what's right. And then you hear amazing stories of store manager gets a backhoe and tears the front door off the store to let people in the store to just take whatever they need. And there's this cultural ethos at Walmart of like, hey, once we make up our mind that we're going to do this, we do it the right way. And, you know, even for a museum, like, I mean, I live like 6 blocks away. I had no idea this was going on. Like none whatsoever. Like, I don't ever remember seeing a piece of heavy equipment on the square.
Right.
I don't ever remember hearing noise or dust or no, I'm down there all the time. And then join the museum team. And then you start hearing the stories and seeing the videos and you're like, holy cow. I had no idea.
Yeah. That's how I felt.
What
Yeah.
a testament to, I had a funny story. I was driving to church, and my 13-year-old, for the first time, had come down 8th Street after it opened. And he's just looking at these buildings and campus, trees and everything. And he's like, he's like, that's a company I could work at one day.
Right.
Well, I don't think he would have said that driving past any of the different aluminum sheds I've worked at in my career. And that's a testament to like, hey, innovate or die. You got to keep changing. Even if it worked in the past, doesn't mean it's always going to work in the future. And so it's a really neat time to be a part of the company and the community and kind of see this whole evolution of Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah. I mean, I'm right there with your kiddo. I mean, that's one of the things I've mentioned a few times to you know, Walmart team members is just like it's incredible to see the thought put into something that is so good for retention of talent, and not even just retaining talent, but attracting talent from other areas. If people come in, it's an amazing place. And I love that the new campus is so beautiful, but it's not ostentatious. You know, it's everything has a very solid functionality, but it still has that beauty, has a lot of natural lighting, a lot of the living plant life, things like that. The mass timber, like there's so many cool things about it. And then to hear like, well, we use the same light bulb all throughout. So that it's like there's the thought process that go into the cost saving. So it's still like that everyday low cost. Yeah. And those kind of things are incredible. But just thinking about like, we were taking photos of the buildings for the story in June, and my daughter came with me, and we were riding through campus on our bikes. I was like, how cool is it that Walmart is welcoming the community into their campus versus setting up the walls and keeping things so separated. So I think that's it's a great way to showcase how Walmart does interact with the community in general, but also thinking, I mean, had I grown up here and this is what it looked like, my aspiration would 100% be, I'm going to work there someday. And I'm sure my kids are like that. So it really is phenomenal what y'all are doing.
Yeah, I think what I love most about it is you think about, Walmart, especially in the early days, started in small towns. It wasn't a big city company. Like, we were serving small towns that had been underserved or ignored forever by department store retail, big retail, et cetera. And, Bentonville, I moved here in 2002, very much still a small town.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I always tell people, the best place to go eat on the weekend was an Outback at Springdale. Like, we got an Outback at Rogers. Like, we have made it.
Mm-hmm.
And to see what used to be a huge collection of industrial metal buildings, distribution centers, warehouses, et cetera, over in that part of town, to now be beautiful, efficient, great working spaces, and to share all of that nature with the community. Like, it's beautiful now. I can't wait to see what it looks like in 5 or 6 years.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when the trees have really grown in more and you really start to see kind of all that come together, like, it's a community space. That 8th Street corridor's got probably 15 or 20 restaurants and businesses that are moving in. Like, it's also going to take some pressure off other areas, whether it's, the Bentonville Square, whether it's, here in Rogers. Being able to have more places for community to congregate and enjoy, I think, is huge for the whole area.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really nice to see it, incorporate cycling paths on and off-road, jogging paths, the water features, and then ponds are spectacular. I love the fact there's a giant kind of 13-acre retention pond on the south side of campus. And the cool part about that is it flows into a watershed. when it's beautiful like today and it's 90 degrees and sunny, like we can let more water flow out of that. So when the next storm comes, the pond fills up with storm water and doesn't all rush in and disrupt the watershed. And so it basically becomes kind of the safety valve for a whole part of the city when it comes to handling flood control. Who does that?
Yeah.
Who puts that much thought into how water impacts the community, or what's the right size of the brick to match something 100 and almost 40 years ago? Well, Walmart does when they make up their mind.
Right.
They want to do, this is the way we're going to do it, and this is the tenacity we're going to have. That's when you see that attention really come to life. Yeah, I know, Justin, you were talking about, like, one of the fun facts is we have like 95% of our light fixtures on the campus is all one design. When you have the opportunity to build something like a new home office, so thoughtful and so planful, you can save a lot of cost in your design choices. Just like Mr. Sam was willing to have the cheapest red and green tile he could buy in 1950, we were able to design very energy efficient buildings. We were able to build thousands of parking spots and parking garages, all with the same sort of modular construction. All those individual design choices add up to, even on a very big project, being able to save lots and lots of money that can be invested back into more nature, more amenities, more things for the community. And so it's really cool to see kind of how our values 75 years later, we still find ways to make our construction dollars stretch for our needs.
But we, during June, we partner with Walmart to pass out our June issue during Associates Week. And so we got to be on campus during Associates Week we were in Sam Walton Hall, which was like, the building itself is so impressive, but also it was just so fun to be there with so many associates walking through this space for the first time. They were asking us lots of questions about the building, and we were like, let me get you someone who can answer that for you. But I have to imagine you maybe felt similarly with the museum. You were telling us before we started, this was the first year in several years that these associates in town for Associates Week got to be in the physical museum again because it's been closed. Yeah. So tell us about seeing these associates in the new space for the first time.
I think the best part of that whole week is when people can walk in and see all of this history, whether it's Sam and Helen's, diploma or yearbook or artifacts, or Mr. Sam's office, or the truck he drove for 13 years. I think it allows people to really connect with kind of who helped start the company, but then also realize, we're purpose driven. As you walk in, the first thing you see to the right is a focus on respect, integrity, service, and excellence. And then we have associates that talk about what those values mean to them. And so I hope associates walk in and feel like, oh, this museum's for me. It's for me as a part of this company and a part of this team to be recognized, to be appreciated, and to know I'm a part of something that's really special. And also too, to realize, like, hey, we don't get it all right all the time. One of my favorite exhibits is in the 1980s. We've got all these hats from all these formats we used to operate. We used to have drugstores, standalone drugstores. We had a standalone farm store. We did a wholesale kind of discount bin type store in the past. We've always been trying new things and learning from them. And then sometimes we don't keep doing that, but we incorporate the learning into something different. And I think that's a thread that associates can walk through and go, oh yeah, we keep trying things in our stores or in our DCs or in our different offices, and we learn from them, and some we just keep making better and better and better, and some we go, we don't need to do that. We should spend our time over here. And so hopefully it reinforces kind of both the appreciation and recognition, but also we're all on this journey together, which is pretty cool.
There does seem to be, I'm sure it's by design, but there is a bit of, as you go through the museum, it is heritage mixed with innovation, and you can see those things kind of happening as you go through the years, and you see, oh no, here's the president, and here's where looks like things are moving. And I think that's a really cool. I'm struck by the wall of the shipping, the boxes, and that's all like. And here's how we're using technology to do this thing. I was like, it's a neat process as you go through and go, wow, here it is through the years, and here's what they've learned. Here's how they're putting into practice here, and my kids love the big globe where they can see. They press the button and see here is one, and here is one, and then just populates, and it's impressive and incredible to see something that started. I'm from here. It's exciting to see something that started in my hometown become a global phenomenon.
Yeah, I do really think it is a great American, not just success story, but just historical story. Like for someone like Sam Walton, who was clearly very driven and very tenacious and loved retail and never stopped tinkering. Like even his first 5 and dime variety store on the square in Bentonville was only the 3rd self-service store ever for the Ben Franklin franchise. There were 2 in Minnesota. He'd heard about them. He rode a bus to see what it was all about, and then was like, oh, this is way better. We should let customers shop for themselves. We shouldn't make them wait in line and ask for every item they want. That was in 1950.
Mm-hmm.
You think about all the different innovations, realizing like, hey, I need to build my own distribution center. I need to be able to buy the things I want to buy. I need to be able to control my own shipping, control my costs. Just like relentless improvement and innovation. But all of those ideas came from listening to associates. I think, it's like the iconic pictures you see is Mr. Sam in a store, on a knee, or in a break room, just listening.
Mm-hmm.
And he took in so much information from so many associates on the front line. Like that's how he could really crystallize where he and his team and his leaders needed to focus. And, all the great leaders at Walmart, they know how to be in the details and how to listen to the associates closest to the work.
Mm-hmm.
And for us at the museum, we get to hear from both associates, community members, tourists, visitors, and not everybody comes in loving Walmart,
mm-hmm.
right? You get a lot of people that are pretty skeptical. Oh, yeah, big company, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully when they walk out of it, they go, oh, I didn't realize how this started. We weren't a $600 billion company, at the beginning, right? Like it comes from taking care of customers and taking care of associates to grow that big and to be that successful. And, even moving into our home office, it's really apparent to leadership that focusing on the customer and what they need is the only thing. Past our purpose and our values, that's the only thing that matters. Because if you take care of the customer, you get to keep doing the job.
That makes sense.
Yeah. You said at the beginning that the space has doubled or almost doubled.
Yep.
What are some of the additions that were able to be brought in then?
So we were able to expand to the second floor. Historically, the second floor was never open to the public space. And the funny thing is, part of the reason is, when Sam Walton added a second floor for storage, it wasn't super robust. And so when we rebuilt the museum, it's concrete and steel building. It's a big, wide open space. And so, on the first floor, you walk in, you see the traditional 5 and dime, you see the red and green mismatched tile. Sam Walton was saving costs from the very beginning. He's like, customers don't care that much about the color of the tile. I'll take the cheapest tile you can get. And that's why it looks like Christmas every day with the 5 and dime. His office is there. We changed the orientation. So as you look into his office in the glass wall, that's exactly what his office would look like if you were looking into our old home office on 8th Street from the parking lot. You got to wind through the decades and see the different artifacts. His truck, we've changed the orientation of his truck. Now you can see it from the inside the Spark Cafe and inside the museum. And sometimes if it's not too crowded and you're driving by at night, you can see it through the windows, which is cool. And then you can go up on the second floor, and I think one of our most popular exhibits is our hologram theater, where we have a hologram of Mr. Sam. He can answer 250 different questions from his time and his life, and it's based on things that he wrote, he said on audio or video. And it's a spectacular experience for, little kids are just like, wow, this is so cool, being able to see this lifelike person talk to me. And then I talk to people that come visit and knew Sam, and they go, wow, really looks like and sounds like him. And that's really cool too, is, you can show a video quality is not great from the 80s and the 90s. But this experience really, I think, adds heft and emotion to so much of his, wise thoughts and funny stories. It's really cool. And so having a dedicated space for that's great. We have a lot of cool new exhibits. We have a fun little exhibit where you can design your own Walmart Spark sticker. We've planted I bet we're at 70 or 80,000 stickers now. I had no idea.
That's awesome.
I'm not sure this is going to be super popular. And then after 10 days, we're like, oh, we're going to need to order a lot more stickers and a lot more ink. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, the room that Mr. Sam's the hologram is in is so cool too, with the kind of 360 mural.
Oh yeah, that was one of the few things that I got to really work on, even joining the team. With the 120 days to go before open. The artist's name's Owen Galley. He's from the UK. He'd done some work for Walmart before. He's this really beautiful kind of almost like flat geometric style of illustration. So that mural's 9 feet tall. It's 128 feet long. And it really tells kind of the Walmart and Sam Walton story from the early days, his wedding, his truck, Old Roy, all the way through to modern day Walmart at the back. And I love when people walk in and they're just kind of like, oh, wow. When you go into a theater, you expect it to just be kind of dark and kind of black, and it's all this color. And when he talks about the stories, whether it's the donkeys and the watermelon at Harrison, or selling popcorn on the square, cheaper than the theater around the corner, Old Roy being a great tennis dog, not a great bird dog, our museum guides, who do a spectacular job telling these stories, can point out the different stories on the wall. And so
it's really cool.
It's really well done.
Seems like it was very intentionally created to be very much an experience, not just you're going to walk through and get your education piece, or, might see some things and you're like, oh, that's neat. It's a kind of a full experience.
Yeah, we probably get 100 customer comment cards a week. And we read every one, we track every one. And what I'm most proud about is by far the thing people say they love most about the museum is our associates that work there.
That's great.
You get, so many of the associates by name. But that tells me okay, we're doing the right thing when it comes to sharing the culture, being friendly, welcoming in people, teaching them about the artifacts and the stories, giving tours. The museum guides are by far the visitor's favorite. But then number 2 is a broad range of exhibits. It could be the hologram. It could be Mr. Sam's truck. It could be his office. It could be the Spark Cafe. It could be the merchandise. And it's really cool to see how much variety really resonates. I love watching people who are my parents' age come in and see the merchandise in the 50s and the 60s and be like, oh, my mom used to have that soap, or I remember having that toy. And it reminds you, it's retail is emotional. Even if it just is soap, shampoo, a hairbrush, a curling iron, but people still connect with the toys of their childhood or the things that their parents or their grandparents had in their house. And so that's cool to see.
That resonates with me because I feel the same way when I get to the 80s cabinet. I'm like, yeah.
I mean, yeah, like we have baseball cards in there. They're 1989 Donruss, and I mean, I bet I opened hundreds of those packs as a kid, and it's fun.
Again, before we started, you kind of, I think it was kind of an offhanded comment. You said you think a lot about leadership and culture in your role.
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit about, like you said, you've been an associate for a long time.
Yeah.
And now you are part of this role that's literally stewarding the legacy for, like, you have a very hands-on role in being part of moving this story forward. What's kind of on your mind at this point, and still the first, like you said, first 100 days of this new experience, and you're still still pretty new in the role, as you're thinking about that leadership and culture piece, because we've been talking about the Walmart culture and the Bentonville culture, and then the community, how does all of that like coalesce for you?
I think it's a really good question. There's a couple of things that come to mind. When you visit Bentonville, and I hear this a lot from people that, my wife's in the biking industry, so she meets lots of people visiting to ride mountain bikes here. And so many people are like, man, you guys are really friendly and like really welcoming. And I think there's part of that is kind of Southern hospitality. I think part of that, though, is Walmart's 10-foot rule. Like, we in the company grew up where if you walked past someone within 10 feet in the office or in a store, you said hello and asked them how they were doing. That's just autopilot for people now. So when you see someone that's a tourist and you say, hello, have a good day, people are kind of taken aback. And so I think there's this part of just loving people and supporting people that really sort of puts the wind in my sails, and thinking through how to better, one thing I think a lot about is, as leaders in the company, think about what we need to do next. How does our strategy evolve? How do our processes evolve? Being able to connect back to stories in our past to help everybody in the company understand this isn't new. We've been changing the whole time. We have been respecting people, serving customers, striving for excellence, tenacity, right? Operating with high integrity. It's not new. It's just different. Change is different. Like, it can be uncomfortable, but being able to tell the stories and let people know, like, oh, yeah, I can see how this relates. That's one thing that's really exciting. The other thing that's really exciting is this role. During Associates Week, I got the opportunity to give a short presentation about Helen Walton. And kind of the punchline to that was, most people have no idea. She's the reason Walmart started in small towns. Sam Walton wanted to open a department store in St. Louis, and he wanted to do that with a business partner. And Helen said, hey, I don't want to live in any city with more than 10,000 people. And she'd grown up with a successful businessman father, and she knew that partnerships don't always go well. And she's like, I don't think we should do this with a partnership. And so Sam ends up in Newport, Arkansas with him and his father-in-law's investment, and, the rest is history. And those stories, being able to find those stories and illuminate them and help leaders know, like, hey, as a leader, sometimes you need a Helen to help you see the other side of the equation, the other side of the coin. She was instrumental in our benefits at Walmart. It wasn't something that Mr. Sam really focused on. And so being able to tell those stories and sort of bring the humanity along with kind of the history is also really important to make.
I think that, underlines what you were saying before about the comment cards. People are talking about the associates
for sure,
making the experience so great, because I think that, again, underlines the whole purpose of Walmart. You're saving people money so they can live better, And that's great. It's, people think about Walmart, they think about retail, they think about going and buying things. But really, at the end of the day, what you're doing with the museum and what Walmart at large is doing in the communities is it's human beings serving other humans and trying to make sure that we're all making it. And I think that's a really cool it's a really cool thing. I mean, I think that's what makes the Walmart Museum what it is, and makes Walmart kind of what it is too, especially for this community, because we get to see such a variety of people in our area because of foresight from decades ago of bringing people here to do business. But it is really powerful to me, and it makes perfect sense, like what you were saying before, why people would be commenting on that, because there is an attention to making sure that people are feeling cared for. And anytime I've had any sort of interaction with an associate, or even today I was at a nonprofit meeting and hearing from another Walmart leader, and it's always about, we're here we have a mission, and our mission is to help people.
Yeah.
And like, that's what's really cool. And that's, for me, as a person that grew up around here, I didn't have any indications that I'd ever work alongside Walmart in any capacity whatsoever. I was just like, Walmart, that's a big company.
Yeah.
But the more that I've been, it's not like drinking the Kool-Aid. It's like you get to meet people and see their intentions, and it is to make things better. And I think that's a really powerful thing.
I think I think that a lot of people sort of just absorb the Kool-Aid organically if you're part of the community. And whether it's how Walmart gives back, whether it's how suppliers give back, whether it's just interacting with people at all different levels and go, oh yeah, that company is different. Like, where our mission statement starts with, we're people led.
Mm-hmm.
And it ends with helping people save money so they can live better. Like, we don't necessarily, it's important to hit your goals and to hit your numbers, sales and inventory turns, and all the things that Sam Walton probably stayed up at night thinking about. We still stay up at night thinking about. But it's bigger than that. It's not just do this to be big. Bigness, bigness doesn't have value. Serving people really well does. And I think that's where once you sort of get on the inside, I mean, when I came here 23 and a half years ago, it was for a tech job. I never thought in a million years I would stay at one company this long or be someone who gets to tell these amazing stories. But you learn the stories and you learn the people, and you go, oh, people need to know this.
Mm-hmm.
One kind of a tangent, my last landlord before my wife and I built a house was Mr. Bogle, Bob Bogle. He named Walmart. I spent like 2 hours with him one day having lemonade, getting to know him. He wanted to make sure I'd be a good tenant.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard all these Walmart stories, and I'm like, to just see how down to earth and how caring even early leaders were. You're like, oh yeah, all leadership culture starts at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can be really clear on what your culture is, you can maintain it really well. And it could be a company, could be a sports team, it could be your family. Like, it doesn't have to be a mega big size group, but if you're clear on what you value and how those values come into practice, then you have a really good chance to maintain that.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think the intention is very clear for someone outside of Walmart. The intention with the new home office and the museum feels very clear. The intention as far as bringing the community in, connecting with the community, like making it we're alongside you guys in this journey. It's not just, like you said, Walmart, our gates are up. I don't know. It just, it's all of it that we've been talking about.
It's really interesting. I was visiting the Google campus because they have a really cool visitors experience that I wanted to see. And their campus is very open and beautiful nature, and you can walk through it and all of that. And then there's other campuses that are really well known that are completely sort of walled off. You can't even see the beautiful architecture. You don't even know how you could enter. And I think sometimes that's really a shame to not share beautiful experiences with your community and with your customers. And like our community is our customers in all of our towns that we have stores. Right? Like, I mean, so many of my friends grew up in small town Oklahoma, especially college friends. The thing to do was to drive 30 miles to the Walmart on the weekend because that was where the community spot was. Maybe in the parking lot, maybe inside. And so I think that's where like Walmart's role as a core piece of the community influence is kind of how you know, a multi-billion-dollar project can then be another anchor point for Northwest Arkansas.
Absolutely. And that's part of why just as a company, we love working alongside Walmart to tell some of these stories, because there's of course the business side that is undeniable. It's incredible what has come out of Bentonville for the retail industry. But the community part, our name is literally Celebrate. So it's, you know, it's hard not to be excited about the storytelling that we've gotten to do with Walmart over the last couple of years. With it just feels like there's a lot of momentum and a lot of innovation. And now these spaces are opening and people can see it and people can read about it and they can watch about it and all of the things. And so it's just been a really exciting partnership for me to join in on with Celebrate, and we're just so thankful that you are sharing part of the story with us.
I'm blessed beyond my wildest dreams, and it's really cool, like, you know, Justin, you being here, like, to just see how things can change. People always ask me, like, oh, what do you think of all this growth? And I'm like, we're not even close to we're not even close to getting worse yet. Like, we're still on the uptick of just getting better and better and better. And I think that's amazing for all the people that have an opportunity to live here or visit here or understand and take what has worked well here to their own communities. And so, and it's guys like you that help package those amazing community stories and share it with others that make it really important. So,
thank you.
This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We appreciate you. Thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. And so people obviously should go to the square and
100%.
check out the museum.
Yep.
But where else, you know, if they're listening to this, where can they like find that information online? What else should they be like looking out for?
WalmartMuseum.com. Google Walmart Museum. It's pretty easy to find.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of the Bentonville Square. Come down, check it out. We're open 7 days a week, 362 days a year. Definitely stay for the ice cream.
That's fantastic.
Can't miss the ice cream. It's part of the experience.
Don't miss the ice cream. Don't miss the second floor.
There you go.
Love it.
Well, thank you so much, Kurt.
Yeah, you bet.